Hello there. Today we delve into the fascinating, often hilarious world of prepping. Yes, folks, we're talking about those doomsday devotees preparing for societal collapse with an arsenal of freeze-dried food and an assortment of questionable skills. These individuals have dedicated their lives to ensuring they can survive any catastrophe, no matter how improbable. Now, prepping itself isn't inherently ridiculous. In fact, having a plan for emergencies is a smart move. Being prepared for emergencies, natural disasters, or unexpected events, perfectly reasonable. It's always good to have a safety net for those unpredictable moments life throws at us. But somewhere along the line, prepping took a hard right turn into the land of the bizarre. What started as a sensible precaution has, for some, morphed into an obsession with the outlandish. It's like prepping went off script, starring in a low-budget action film where the hero single-handedly fends off a zombie horde using only a spork and their encyclopedic knowledge of knot tying. The creativity is commendable, but the practicality, questionable. We're here to tell you it doesn't have to be this way. Prepping can be practical, grounded, and even enjoyable without veering into the absurd. Join us, won't you, as we separate the wheat from the chaff, the useful from the useless, the practical from the preposterous, and the sensible from the sensational in the wild world of prepping. From the everyday to the extreme, we'll explore it all and help you find a balanced approach to being prepared. Let's be honest. Some preppers seem less concerned with real-world disasters and more focused on starring in their own survivalist reality show. They spend countless hours mastering skills that, while impressive, are often impractical for the scenarios they're likely to face. They're out there learning to make fire by rubbing sticks together like they're auditioning for Survivor Apocalypse Edition. Sure, it's a cool trick, but in a real emergency, you'll want something more reliable. Newsflash. Folks, when the power grid goes down, you won't need to fashion a bow and arrow to hunt squirrels. You'll need batteries, a working flashlight, and a way to keep your devices charged. Practicality should always come first, and maybe a good book to pass the time. Keeping your mind occupied is just as important as having the right gear. And don't even get me started on the folks obsessed with building elaborate escape tunnels and underground bunkers. These projects can take years and a small fortune to complete. Look, if the situation is so dire that you need to vanish into the earth, I assure you, a trowel and some plywood won't cut it. Instead, focus on realistic preparations that can actually make a difference in your survival and comfort during a crisis. The bug-out bag is a staple of the prepping community. It's supposed to be a portable survival kit, ready at a moment's notice, but some preppers treat it like a competitive sport, cramming theirs full of every conceivable gadget and gizmo. Listen, a multi-tool's handy. A water filter? Essential. But a solar-powered espresso maker? Come on, folks. You're prepping for a potential crisis, not a glamping trip. Remember, true preparedness isn't about amassing a mountain of gear. It's about acquiring practical knowledge and skills. Knowing how to purify water, build a basic shelter, or perform basic first aid will be far more valuable than a backpack full of trinkets. Food storage is a cornerstone of prepping. But some preppers take it to comical extremes, hoarding enough canned goods to last a lifetime. While having a supply of non-perishable food is smart, remember that variety is the spice of life, even in a crisis. Focus on building a sustainable food system. Learn to garden, can your own produce, or even raise chickens, zoning laws permitting, of course. And speaking of food, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the freeze-dried meal in the bunker. Yes, they have a long shelf life, but let's be honest, you still need a wide variety of meals because you don't want to eat 50 pounds of beans. Section 5, First aid fanaticism, from band-aids to battlefield surgery. Knowing basic first aid is crucial for any prepper, but there's a difference between being prepared and setting up a makeshift operating room in your basement. Learning to treat minor injuries, perform CPR, or control bleeding is essential. But attempting to perform surgery on yourself with a rusty butter knife and a YouTube tutorial, that's best left to medical professionals or, not happening at all. Remember, prepping should be about empowering yourself with knowledge and skills, not turning into a rogue medical practitioner. Focus on practical first aid and leave the complex procedures to the experts. Section 6, the social network community building for survival. Here's a radical concept. You might not have to face the apocalypse alone. Shocking, I know. Building a strong community is one of the most valuable prepping steps you can take. Connect with like-minded individuals, share skills and resources, and create a support network you can rely on in times of need. Because let's be real, surviving a disaster is a lot easier and more fun when you're not doing it alone. Remember that prepping isn't about becoming a lone wolf holding up in your bunker with a year's supply of beans. It's about building resilience, both individually and as a community. Section 7, mental fortitude, the most underrated prepping skill. Amidst all the talk of bug-out bags and survival skills, one crucial aspect of prepping often gets overlooked: mental fortitude. When disaster strikes, it's not just your physical preparedness that will be tested, but your mental and emotional resilience as well. Develop coping mechanisms for stress, anxiety, and fear. Practice mindfulness. Cultivate a positive outlook, and remember that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. Because let's face it, a well-stocked pantry and a first aid kit are great, but a strong mind and an unyielding spirit are what will truly see you through challenging times. Section 8, prepping for the everyday. Adapting survival skills for daily life. Here's a secret. You don't need an impending apocalypse to start utilizing prepping skills. Many of the principles of preparedness translate perfectly into everyday life. Learning to budget, cook at home, and fix minor repairs around the house are all valuable skills, regardless of whether the world is ending or not. In fact, embracing these practices can make you more resilient and self-reliant, even in the face of ordinary challenges. So go ahead, learn to change a tire, start a compost bin, or master the art of sourdough bread baking. You might just find that prepping for the everyday is not only practical, but surprisingly satisfying. Section 9. Conclusion. Embrace practicality, laugh at the apocalypse. So there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the wacky, wonderful, and sometimes downright bizarre world of prepping. From stockpiling canned goods to learning how to filter water with a sock. The prepper community is as diverse as it is dedicated. Remember, being prepared isn't about becoming a survivalist caricature, obsessed with outlandish scenarios and impractical skills. It's about integrating preparedness into your everyday life in a way that makes sense for you and your family. Focus on the essentials, building practical skills, cultivating mental resilience, and fostering strong community bonds. These are the pillars of effective prepping. Whether it's learning how to grow your own food or simply knowing your neighbors, these skills can make a world of difference. And most importantly, don't forget to find the humor in it all. Laughter is a powerful tool that can help you stay sane in the most stressful situations. It can turn a daunting task into a fun activity and bring people closer together. After all, if we can't laugh at the absurdity of it all, what's the point of surviving the apocalypse? Humor can be a great way to cope with the unknown and the unpredictable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications so that you don't miss a single minute of survival videos. Also, comment below, how seriously do you prep and for how long? So, go forth, be prepared, and remember, when the zombies come knocking, offer them a decent cup of coffee and a slice of that homemade sourdough bread. They'll appreciate it. Probably. And who knows, maybe you'll make a new friend in the process. After all, even zombies need a break sometimes.